What is up, everybody? Episode 6 of the Healthy Living Podcast. I'm with Mike Murray. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. So, for everyone who doesn't know who you are, give us a background on who you are and what you do.
I am Mike Murray. I'm an amateur fighter out of Kansas City, Missouri. I train at Glory MMA and Fitness. Head coach Zach Cummings, and then I train up at the Lee Summit Gym as well with all of those pros, and just trying to work on my game and getting better every day.
And you had a fight December 18th, right? Was the last fight you've actually gotten an octagon?
Yeah, in Iowa. Yeah, for
Yeah.
True Rev.
Yeah, and I was there. And what did you know that? Did you have a plan or a suspicion that you were going to get him out of there quick, or did you think it was going to be a long battle? How did you think that fight was going to go?
So I've never had a 5-rounder or a scheduled 5-rounder, so we were kind of ready for 5 rounds no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Our game plan was to just go in there and do what we do, and try to nullify anything that he's going to do. So we kind of had a little bit of a game plan, but at the same time, we didn't want to just focus on one thing, because if he was to counter what we were trying to do, and then we're like, crap,
Right.
then we're kind of SOL. So we had a little bit of a suspicion of what we were going to do, but nothing like clean cut and dry. I knew he was a wrestler. So I kind of, in the first round, our goal was just to solidify the round, be up 1-0, riding in to the second round was the main goal. But after the first round, I took him down, and I thought he would be a lot more like scrambly off of his back. And when I went back to my corner in the second, or after the first, I told my corner, Phil, I was like, he can't get off of his back. And he said, what do you mean? I go, that he couldn't get off of his back technically, so Go says, put him back on his back. And, that was it. I knew that he was going to throw some wild punches and kicks and things like that. So we had been kind of working on how to get in and out of range faster. I could have done a lot better. He tagged me with a side kick in the stomach one time, and it just erupted. I need to be better about keeping my composure when I get tagged, but I got tagged hard, and I was like, I got to tag him back. And I probably shouldn't have bull rushed in, but I mean, it worked out in our favor at that point. But I just got to learn to do a little bit better on that end of things.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a spectator, you looked a lot more like you were amped up, but you looked like you're a lot more composed than he was. I mean, he looked like he was a little nervous.
Yeah, we were in the back, and I was talking with my corner. He looked like he had a little bit of nervous energy, but at the same time, everybody is different when it comes to that. I mean, I've seen some of the pros that take naps before they fight, and then 20 minutes before they put their gloves on and hit mitts, and then they go out there and start somebody, So everybody's different. So I didn't want to really judge a book too bad by its cover, but he did kind of seem to have some nervous energy with him, but it was nothing that I was going to look over.
Right.
I was focused and there to do my job, no matter what. But yeah, he seemed a little nervous to me. I mean, I was super nervous as well, but when am I not? So go ahead.
Well, yeah, to your point of taking naps, I mean, Wonder Boy is just a great example of that. I mean, he naps for like 2 hours before the fight, then he wakes up, gets a sweat going, and then walks out.
Yeah, no, sir, I'm not doing that.
I don't think I would either.
Wide awake.
Yeah,
I'm wide awake. I'm about to get in a fist fight with somebody. I cannot just take a little nap and relax.
So, are you would you consider yourself a kickboxer, or what's your
I would say
specialty?
grappling is definitely my strong suit within the last maybe year and a half. I've had a pretty extensive talk with my coach Zach, and as you go up in levels in this sport, you're going to find people that are going to be able to stop your takedowns or hang with you on the ground. So we need to be able to hang on the feet as well.
Right.
I started out doing jujitsu in this. So I would say more of grappling. I love the grappling a lot more, but wherever it goes, I feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, when I watched you, I didn't I thought you were a pretty solid striker as well. I didn't um I was actually slightly impressed that you were at your striking, honestly.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been working. I do mitts twice a week, striking every night. Shadow box and all that kind of stuff. So just trying to keep everything fluid and keep everything like cycling. So one thing doesn't work, move to the next. One thing doesn't work, move to the next. Just like grappling.
Yeah.
So that's what we're shooting for.
So one thing that I've realized is when I talk to like MMA coaches or just train myself, I've realized that if you work like an MMA like training session is good, but I think what makes a good fighter to a great fighter is training all of the practices separately. So like you have boxing practice and you box, and then you have strictly jujitsu, strictly wrestling. Do you train just like MMA, like a conglomeration of everything, or do you like separate it?
At Glory, I feel like they're really trying to put all the pieces together. So we'll work on striking or certain wall work or grappling, but the goal is to just put everything together at once. And then if I need to work certain techniques or slow things down a little bit, then I will just focus on that specifically. So yeah, it's kind of a mix of both. But at practice, I would say we'll kind of try to just continually mix everything up together and keep everything going.
How often do you train?
My goal is twice a day, every day. Sundays, maybe something light or hot yoga or whatnot. But yeah, every day, twice a day is my goal. Sometimes it's just once a day. But I definitely am. I'm not here to have any excuses if I take a loss. And I don't like to go into the cage with any doubt in my mind, like, did I do enough?
Yeah.
And so that's a big part of it. Is I used to go into the cage and think, what if this, what if that? Now I don't really have that what if in my head because I know I've checked all of my boxes leading up to this fight.
Right. I mean, I talked to a ex NFL player, and he had a rough journey to get to the league, and the sole piece of advice he gave me was when you go into practice, do everything you can, and whether that's this podcast, I'm doing everything I can to succeed. So then when this video airs, whether that's the editing techniques or whatever, I know that when this video airs, that whether it gets 1 view or it gets 10,000 views, I know I did my best. And and so he kind of told me, you can go.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think that's how it should be with like everything in life.
Right.
And MMA has kind of helped form that with everything I do, whether it's my schoolwork, MMA, family life, friends, all of the above. Like you have to be 2 feet in, no matter what. So that's kind of my mantra or motto this year is just being 2 feet in, no matter what I do, is 110% at all times.
So, how much weight do you cut?
The most I've cut was from 85 to 55. So was it like 30?
30 pounds.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But typically it's usually right around like 20 or so. So not too much. I mean, like the high level pros or even the pros in general, they seem like they're like cutting 30 pounds like it's nothing, but I hate cutting that much weight. So I try to stay like under 20 pounds about a week and a half out or so, and then just level down from there.
Yeah, I've actually seen a lot of that. I mean, but you also have people like Colby Covington. He doesn't cut much weight, but you have Dustin Poirier, who's bigger than Colby walking around wise, and he cuts down to what, 55?
Yeah, 55. Ben Askren said something a long time ago on a podcast, and he was talking about how he will train at the weight that he's going to fight at, basically. And I kind of thought, wow, well, that makes a lot of sense, actually. But then you have people like Dustin who, naturally he's just so physically strong and big, at 55. So, and if he can make the weight, why not? But Colby, doesn't seem like he has to cut a ton of weight and continually can compete with those guys up top. So the cutting the weight thing is one of those where you might cut a bunch of weight and kill yourself, but you also might not cut enough, or you might go down to a weight class that you only had to cut 10 pounds for, but those guys are physically bigger and stronger. So I think you kind of have to find your happy medium.
Yeah. So do you keep up with the UFC?
I do.
All right.
I do.
So you saw Masvidal Colby got released, right?
Mhm.
That's gonna happen.
Mhm.
What's your predictions?
Oh yeah. I think Colby is going to put on a clinic from start to finish, whether it's in the first round or the fifth round. I think Usman is just that good, and I think Colby is just right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else at that level, I think you can kind of get caught by anybody, but Colby is so good. I mean, although Robbie Lawler is super old at the time, I mean, look what he did with Lawler. Just put on a clinic
Or
on
T
him.
Wood.
So I think Colby wins, and Colby is my favorite fighter. So I'm gonna have to rock with Colby.
I'm glad we can agree on that. Obviously, I'm sure you can tell I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan. But
Same.
Colby Covington, I love him. I love what he does. I love his funky suits. I love how he carries around his Donald Trump Jr. book. Like it's amazing. His personality is great. But I do think that last fight against Usman, he won that fight.
I think in order to be the champ, you have to beat the champ definitively. And I like, me being biased, I think he did win, but at the same time, Usman still hung in there, But look what who did Jones fight that
there's two, Dominic Reyes, and then there was Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos walked out, jogged to the back, and John Jones was on crutches. And I personally, I think if I put a dude on crutches and I'm jogging back, I think I win that fight.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I 100% agree with that. It's just weird how the judging works sometimes because you're in a fight, but at the same time you're pointing and scoring fights, and so it's kind of one of those things. But like you said, if you can't walk out of the cage and I can run back to the locker room, I won the fight.
Yeah. 100%. But fight, so. It just goes back to like in football, Tom Brady is always going to get the benefit of the doubt. No matter what it is, he's going to get the benefit of the doubt. And when you're a champion, especially a champion like John Jones or or somebody like Conor McGregor, I feel like, or Usman, when you're somebody like that who's a blockbuster, then you're going to get the benefit of the doubt 10 out of 10 times. And I think that's what happened with Usman. I think he's going to get the benefit of the doubt. He gets the champ's nod every time. And I think if Colby stays on his feet in the second round, then I think it's more definitive that Colby won. But the fact that he got stunned and dropped, honestly, in the second round, and he was wobbled. Yeah. I mean, I think that lost him the fight, really.
It sucks. I wanted him to beat Usman so bad too. Because Usman is so good.
Yeah, and the first fight, if he would have stayed on his feet again, he was up 3-2 on 2 judges' scorecards, and that's all you need to win.
Yeah, I thought Colby definitely won the first fight. Going into the 5th round, I was like, oh, Colby's up 3-1, and then Mark Not So Goddard stopped the fight early. Yeah, so come on now.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It depends, but in my opinion, in order to be the champ, you got to beat the champ definitively.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. And yeah. So you got a fight coming up.
I do. February 6th.
And that's in the Cable Donahoe Arena.
Yeah. It's in Independence, Missouri. So right outside KC.
Right.
Yeah. And for the pro side of it, it's a big thing because it's on UFC Fight Pass, but Uncle Dana's coming in to watch all
Uncle Dana. Yeah. Right.
So although he's not watching the amateurs, and I mean, as an amateur, you're not getting signed to Dana. It's still one of those things where you have big names and people in there, and it's also filling up more seats because of him coming, So it's a lot bigger fight. But I talked to my coach about it, and he was just saying it's just another fight. We're going out there to do what we do. Don't think too far into it, kind of thing. But yeah, it's in what is it? 3 weeks,
Yeah.
3.5 weeks. It's on a Sunday.
Uh-huh.
It's weird. I've never fought on a Sunday, so the weight cutting will be like a day extra almost. And then just there'll be more nervous energy, I think, from almost everybody just because of the people in there. But I'm
Hmm.
just gonna go there and try to do my job.
Yeah. So, uh, do you watch film when you fight? Like on your
Uh,
opponent, I guess.
on my opponent,
Yeah.
yeah, I do. I go down a rabbit hole for sometimes my coach won't even tell me a name for weeks just because he knows like I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna research everything I can about this person, social media, film,
Hmm.
just everything. And I think at times that has bit me in the butt because I think too much into what they're gonna do and not worry about what I'm gonna do and what I'm good at. And
Hmm.
I've slowly learned you can know that this guy's a kickboxer or he likes to throw this certain combination, and you can work on that, but you don't need to go in there worrying about what happens when the 1-3-2 head kick comes because then you're just stuck in the water or
Hmm.
in mud, just waiting for it.
Or unconscious.
Yeah, knock on wood. Knock on wood that doesn't happen. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no.
either one.
Yeah. So, I believe what's your record?
7-4.
7-4.
Yeah.
And how often do you fight a year? Like, would it be every couple of months or 3 times a year, like, most fighters or
I started fighting in 2000. I took my first fight December of 2018. So 11 fights since then. So, I mean, I've taken it's probably like 3 to 4 times a year on
Mhm.
average.
Yeah.
I try to honestly, I'm just one of those guys where I'm not here to pick my fights, especially as an amateur. I'm not here to
Mhm.
pick my fights. I'm not here to, you know, do any of that kind of stuff. Whatever fight they tell me I have, and you just run with it.
Mhm.
Your job is to go in there and dominate and win, and
Yes.
obviously get the finish.
Uh-huh. So are you what do you are you in a do you wear a gi when you grapple? Um, or are you no gi?
So I started out in the gi all the time, and I noticed during like even in the cage and MMA, it's a lot slower pace when you're in the gi.
Mhm.
So I kind of switched everything to no gi. So now I don't really train in the gi that much. I don't think I've been in the gi in like I think in an entire year I've been in the gi like twice.
Yeah.
Everything
And
is just no gi.
I found that if you train in a gi, um and you start and you work on collar chokes and like gi specific chokes, then sometimes you get in there and you're like, oh well, fuck, this don't work.
Yeah, or you can grab the pants to
Hmm.
pass somebody's guard or
Yeah.
whatever, and so when you're in there you don't have that option.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So
no.
I'm just trying to make it as realistic as possible
Yeah.
for when I do get in there. I don't ever want to get in there like I said and be like, what the hell is this, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. No, I
so
agree. And so so you've practiced jujitsu. How often do you do your jujitsu?
I do jiu-jitsu shit 3-4 times a week. I would say that we roll like 3 or 4 times a week, and then MMA every day as well.
Hmm.
At least try strength condition a little bit, but jujitsu probably 4 days out of the week on average.
Uh-huh. And do you strength and condition?
I do. My roommate Mikey England, shout out to the maniac right here.
Uh-huh.
He got me onto a strength and conditioning program with his name's Stefan Jefferson. It's functional patterns.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been a big weightlifting guy. I hate lifting weights when I was in the
Yeah.
military, high school. Like I'm just not naturally like one of those dudes that can just throw on all this muscle. So
Uh-huh.
it's a lot more of um, it's a lot more weighted movements, if that makes sense.
Right.
So yeah, I do that twice a week, um, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he's really good with everything. And I think I've been with him under a year, and we've physically noticed the change, but also mentally as well.
Yeah.
Um, I think just feeling like your body is prepared physically for this, I think is a huge benefit and factor to have success in the long
Hmm.
run.
Hmm.
And it prevents a lot of injuries.
Yeah, and I also found scratching weights completely and going to resistance band workouts also helps. But the only downside to that is you're not putting on necessarily a lot of muscle mass. You're just working fast twitch muscles. And one thing I did figure out about weight cutting is the more muscle you have, the way easier it is to cut.
Yeah, it's a little different, and it's hard to find that out because some people are stocky, and you're like, man, you can naturally just cut all this weight,
Uh-huh.
whereas other people you kind of watch them. Yeah, so it's one of those, but I definitely think strength conditioning, functional patterns is a huge benefit to my game right now.
Yeah, no. Um, how often do you strengthen condition then?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, just in the mornings.
Hmm.
So um, not a ton, but I think it's enough to build and continually keep my body progressing in a positive way.
And and so what do you do like for a light workout on Sunday? You
Um,
just slow roll? Because I know like John Donaher and his team, like they're 7 days a week, and then Sundays they take off, they take really light, slow rolling, pad, whatever. So what do you do?
it honestly depends on how my body is feeling and like where we're at in, I guess you could say, fight camp. Even though I feel like every day we're in fight camp, we never take a day off. So a lot of times I'll do like, honestly, I'll go to hot yoga
Mm-hmm.
or go to the gym and do mitts with my roommate, or like me and Mikey have on a Sunday gone and just done like 4 counts and fit ins and just work like certain things, but obviously it's not live situation. But just something to kind of keep the body warm and moving, but we're not taxing the body as hard as we would at a practice on Wednesday.
How often do you spar?
Let's see. It depends. So I spar every Wednesday night, and then Saturday mornings, depending on if I go to the North Lane gym. And then Wednesdays and Fridays up at Lee Summit, we'll usually do small gloves and spar, or we'll roll. So one of the two. But I at
Yeah.
least get like 2 days of sparring in. So probably 15 rounds at least a week of sparring. And then another 20, 25 plus rolling rounds a week. So
What's your most memorable, just a fight memory or a knockout or a finish that is, that just like that memorable?
you say that again, you cut out.
What's your most memorable knockout finish or just fight memory that makes like whenever you're like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, you're having that doubt and you're like, but this memory keeps me going.
Oh man, that's a good one. Um, I would say I had a fight last October at FAC, and I just created the break and came with an overhand. Um, and I didn't even think I punched the guy that hard, but dropping another human being with your hands, it's kind of fulfilling in a
Oh, it
way.
is. Yeah.
So that definitely gets me pumped up. But I would say that, or just honestly, anytime I get my hand raised in there and know that the work is
Yeah.
done and my teammates and coaches, family are proud, that I would say that that's kind of the drive.
So, have you watched Conor McGregor's documentary, The Notorious?
Uh, so one of my fight week rituals is I will watch that documentary either through the week or at least one time all the way through. I love that documentary. It's amazing.
Me too.
And
I
it's
love it.
it's so motivating to kind of see like where he started, although I'm probably
Hmm.
not making $100 million in the sport like he did. Just to kind of see like he was in the trenches and grinding and going through all this stuff, and he continually was like, no, I'm gonna do this. I
Hmm.
will do this. I will be in the UFC. I will become a champion. I will make so much money. I don't know what to do with it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I watch the documentary all the time.
All right. So, when Artem, after Connor gets choked out by Nate Diaz, Artem says, um, the day after losing sucks because you'll be at a supermarket and you'll be like, that grandma over there, she knows. she knows that I got, finished. So with that being said, how do you handle a loss?
Oh man. I handle losses pretty bad. I'm a sore loser. I hate losing. It doesn't matter if we're sprinting to the car, playing checkers,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like I am a sore loser. I hate losing. I'm super competitive with anything I do,
Hmm.
especially if I really care about it. With losses, usually I'll just hang out with my guys, talk about what went wrong, what we can do better, and then just get back to work on Monday. James Krause actually has a really good quote, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but he says something along the lines of like, "You have the weekend to either celebrate um, and whatnot, or you have the weekend to cry about it. But come Monday morning, it's time to work, and that
Hmm.
is behind you." So,
Yeah.
like for example, that last fight, I mean, what was it? It was on a Friday. It was on a Friday.
Yeah. It's Friday night.
Celebrated through the weekend, and then Monday morning came, and I didn't even remember I had a fight. We're just back on the grind.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think there's also another quote, and it's like a lion kills an alligator after it's already eaten, and so that's always like stuck with me. It's like, all right, I may have just knocked this dude out, I may have choked this dude out, or I may have thrown a game-winning touchdown. Either of those three things, I'm like, you take the weekend, you're like, yeah, whoop it up, have fun, but you can never be satisfied with just one victory.
Yeah, my goal isn't to win an amateur fight or win an AMA
Uh-huh.
title and then ride off into the sunset. So if I'm if I'm continually like looking back on what I did, my progress is going to be greatly diminished because I'm continually focused on the past of what I did do, and that last win isn't going to carry me into this fight and do anything for me. So it's one of those things like just keep going.
Well, yeah, and I just like to forget about it. It's like, and next week this fight's not going to mean anything. I mean, maybe to your like family, you'll go to a family reunion and you'll be like, yeah, I just knocked this dude out. But and where it matters, for instance, like Uncle Dana doesn't care about an amateur win, you know,
Um,
or
yeah,
a college scout doesn't care about a one game winning touchdown or whatever it is, whatever sport you play.
no,
Um, they don't care about that. They want, consistency in results.
yeah, exactly. And it's preached at our gym that the best way to get noticed isn't by Instagram, isn't by some highlight reel knockout. The best way to get noticed is to continually go in there and win.
Yeah.
And that's it. And yeah, I think that's totally accurate. Of a college scout isn't going to be like, hey, that guy threw a game-winning touchdown his senior year. It's like, who cares? Is he consistently winning? Is he consistently putting up numbers? Is he consistently making, you know, these good decisions under pressure?
Exactly. Do you because personally, I love the pressure of anything. I If there's pressure, I love it. I love being like, in football, 2-minute warning with the ball, I got to score to win, or my back against the wall, 2-2 rounds, fifth round, a minute left, controversial. I love having my back against the wall. Do you like having your back against the wall?
Um, I don't mind having my back against the wall, but I'm not a fan of having my back against the wall. Like bring the pressure, bring the heat. Or we might be going into the third and it's 2-2. I'm always down to bring the heat, but
Mhm.
I would like to not have the pressure. But I feel like no matter what you do, especially with fighting, there's always going to be pressure because
Oh
you could
yeah.
be up 2 rounds. You could be up 2 rounds to zero. You still have the pressure of, hey, this guy's dangerous in the third. This guy's knocked people out in the third. This guy has been here before. So with pressure, I've been working on it a lot, especially with my coach of just um, taking that pressure and creating positive energy instead of
Hmm.
negative energy. Because
Yeah.
starting out, I was always creating negative energy, like, oh my God, this guy's a all-star wrestler. Oh my God, this guy has knocked 5 people out. And instead of, focusing negatively, why don't I say, okay, this guy's knocked 5 people out before, but I know I can go out there and beat this guy.
Right.
Things like that. So I've been working on it a lot. But I would say if the pressure's there, doesn't really bother me right now. I think I've definitely worked on that and continually built off of it. But at the same time, the pressure's always here in this sport.
Oh yeah, and you know, just Nate Diaz again fighting Leon Edwards. I mean, dude was getting starched for four and three quarters of rounds, and then wobbles him. You know, it's just, and he could have finished that fight.
Yeah, I I wish that was like a 10-round fight because that would have been
Oh yeah.
great. That would have been awesome to see.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Leon, you saw he's next for the title.
Yeah. I agree with it. I mean, the dude's on like what, an 8-fight winning streak?
8 or 9, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really follow Leon that much, but
yeah, neither
I
do
think
I.
Usman needs somebody other than Masvidal and Colby. You know, I know he had Gilbert Burns, which
I think
that
Gilbert
was
Burns is a good matchup.
I know he starched Gilbert, but at the same time, I think Gilbert is still super dangerous. So
Well, yeah, and I don't even know if we can consider it starching him. I mean, Gilbert got knocked out, but in the round one, now this is when I became a Kamaru Usman believer. Is when he got wobbled, put his hand in the ground, and I was like, "Oh, come on, you know." And then next thing I know, he's dropping him with a jab.
yeah, but I mean, I think the credit goes to Trevor Whitman on that.
Oh yeah.
Trevor Whitman is
Oh,
a
100%.
genius.
He is
He's
a
a genius.
genie. He's a genie. The only
Yeah.
coach that I can think of that would give Trevor Whitman, well, in my opinion, he's better, but in some would give Trevor Whitman a run for his money is John Danaher.
You mean like technically or altogether?
Altogether. I mean, John Danaher, especially in jiu-jitsu. Now, I know jiu-jitsu is not, the end all be all. And we've seen people like Damian Maya and just jiu-jitsu wizards, Ryan Hall, who don't necessarily perform the best. And I know that, but he also coaches striking. And I don't know, there's something to be said about it. And he doesn't have a life.
GSP.
Yeah. And he doesn't have a life outside of it. Like, if you listen to him on Joe Rogan, he's like, I go home and I'll watch fights. And then based on a topic they talked about in the gym. So like, they'd be like, oh, I remember like this guy throws a really good jab. And then he'd go find that guy and watch every one of that dude's fights, amateur to pro. And then find like, it's crazy how much time he has. But to his credit, he doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have kids. He loves fighting. So
yeah, I think John Danaher is really good. And I like his persona. I mean,
yes.
How weird would it be to go to a grocery store or anywhere in public and you got some dude in a rash guard? Like,
yeah. And not only that, but his face just looks like he's just a mysterious person.
Yeah, he doesn't like. He's one of those
and
guys
he talks
that you bump shoulders with.
Gordon Ryan.
Yeah. Like if you bump shoulders with him at the bar or whatever, and you're kind of like, "Yo, watch it, man." Like low key, you don't know he would mess you up.
Oh yeah, he would fuck your day up.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I would say Whitman. I think Whitman is definitely the best. Danaher's up there. There's so many. The reason why I think Whitman's so good though is because what does he have? He has 3 fighters.
Yeah, and he corners them all in the same night. That's
okay,
special.
that to me is crazy. That's to me
special.
is crazy.
That is special.
And all of his fighters always come prepared.
Yeah, and honestly, Justin Gaethje could have gave Khabib a run for his money if he just didn't fall down that rabbit hole. The same way if Conor didn't fucking pull guard on Dustin would have been choked unconscious. And
what the hell is Conor doing pulling guard?
Yeah, and exactly.
Conor tweeted like first one to shoot or go down on the ground first was a bitch, and I was like, Conor, you pulled guard in like the first round. What are you doing?
Yeah, and not to mention, the number one thing when you're pulling guard, especially in an octagon, is don't pull it near a cage when they can just walk up and then it's reversed. And secondly, don't pull it on Dustin Poirier, who he's literally a guillotine. He almost choked out Khabib with his guillotine. He does guillotine.
Oh my god! I thought that was in on Khabib. I think Khabib even was on a podcast saying how like tight that choke really was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I've seen a deeper choke, and Wonder Boy just pulls out of that guillotine with Tyron Woodley.
I think
Now,
the most dangerous choke I've ever seen that someone got out of was
oh, it was Volkanovski.
Volkanovski.
Yes. Oh my.
We
How
we
did he
watched
get
that
out of
fight
that?
that fight at our house like once a week, and
Uh-huh.
you just turn on. It was the third round. It happened, I think.
Yeah.
Even on my phone, sometimes I'm like, I just need to watch something crazy. And how he got out of the guillotine, the mounted guillotine, was insane.
Mhm.
And then how he got out of T City, he is branded by the triangle. He's like in a video game where it's like this is this guy's superpower, and
Uh-huh.
Ortega put it on him, and Volk said, "Not today."
Yeah. Boy, oh, I it's crazy how he did that. And not to yeah, the mounted triangle by Ortega. I mean, we've seen so many people get put to sleep by that. I mean, top tier grapplers, you get
Yeah,
slept and then,
I
Volkanovski.
mean,
But that's just the
he
champion.
was.
That's the dog in him.
I don't know how he got out of it.
No, neither do I really.
I don't. I don't think anybody else on the circuit could have got out of that.
Oh no, I remember watching that fight and I had money on Volkanovski and I literally threw my drink and I was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And then everyone's like, hey, come back, he's out. So yeah, I was crazy.
Volk's. I'm a fan of Volk now. I used to not be because of the whole Max thing.
Same.
I thought
I
Max
I
definitely
agree.
won.
Yes.
And then I saw Volk coach the Ultimate Fighter, but I realized how good of a coach he was and how good his team is and how they prepare and train for everything. And then I saw him against Ortega, who Ortega looked so dominant against Korean Zombie, you
Yes.
know. So we thought we were gonna get this Ortega that had every box checked, for Volkanovski. And Volkanovski was like, "Oh, cool. You want to put me in that move? I'll get out of it. No worries."
Yeah, no worries. I gotta say I became a really big fan of Volkanovski as the Ultimate Fighter came out. I loved how, he took Brian Battle, the last pick, and made him the Ultimate Fighter. I think, that there's just something to be
He
said about
believes
that.
he believes in his guys. And I
Yes.
think when you have a coach that believes in you, you also gain this sense of confidence, walking in there. And
Uh,
how could you not be confident when the UFC featherweight champ has your back? You know, like you don't really have much to be scared of if you're like, this is the best in the world at this weight class, and he's
yeah.
got my back. So your confidence shouldn't really lack too bad walking into that cage.
Yeah, no. But I really wish we could have seen Trayshawn Gore and Brian Battle. That fight would have been explosive.
Seen who?
Trayshawn Gore, the Ortega's the one who's supposed to fight Brian Battle, he pulled out due to an injury.
Yeah. I mean, they'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, but that fight was going to be electric.
I agree. I like all that stuff from Ortega and Volk.
Yeah.
Volk's a machine, though.
Yeah, no, I think there's a reason why he's a champ. You're not just a champion in the UFC on accident.
I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, illegal knees to the head by accident.
Okay, well, I guess yeah, but and the thing about that is Aljo literally came out and was like, "I'm not the champion," threw the belt down. "Oh, I'm not the champion," blah blah blah. And then 2 days later, he's posting, "I'm the champion. I'm the champion." Like, okay, you can't say you're not going to accept the belt like that, and then post up, from then going forward about how you're a champion when we all know how that fight was going to end. It was not in Aljo's favor, and I like Aljo. He's a great fighter. But Petr Yan is just so different.
Peter's gonna get the belt, I think.
I like Sandhagen.
I
like Sandhagen. I know he just got beat by him, but Sandhagen, I like him.
I became a big fan of Sandhagen when I listened to him on Joe's podcast, and it's kind of interesting to like hear these fighters and their lifestyles. And he sounded like, he's just so in tune with his training and his body and his mind. And I really like Sandhagen's just persona and the way he fights. And he's a dog too, like, I mean, I definitely think Peter won,
Oh, no, I completely agree.
But at the same time, like Sandhagen, like I said, with Usman and Colby, I think Sandhagen's like right there,
And I
So
think give Sugar Sean, I'd say 5 more fights and it maybe a year or maybe 2 even. Give him a year or 2, and I think Sean O'Malley definitely wears that belt around his waist or on his shoulder,
in two
whichever he
years,
prefers. Yeah, in 2 years.
you think he beats Sandhagen?
I really do. See, the thing is you can't bet out Sandhagen because I thought Frankie was going to beat him, and we all know how that ended. I mean, that knee was
Was it a
vicious.
flying
Yeah,
knee, right?
yeah,
In like
flying
30
knee.
seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just and I mean Masvidal prides himself on a flying knee, but that was so luck and on Ben Askren who's going to shoot off rip. Frankie Edgar is not Ben Askren.
Frankie Edgar is champ, is a
Yeah,
world
he was a
champ, right?
champion. Wait, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I think it was like at
45?
lightweight or something. Yeah,
Thought it was at 45 or
it might have
55.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
one of
have
those
no
two.
idea.
But
But
he's like one of those weird dudes like BJ Penn who fights at lightweight and then will fight at 35 or heavyweight and then fight at 35. He fought like
I
so many times.
I think what Sean O'Malley is doing outside of the cage is just as big as what he's doing inside the
Oh, I
cage. Like
agree.
his marketing and his merch drops and
Mhm.
the way he carries himself, like how he had his UFC gloves on and he's like smoking a joint or a blunt
Yeah.
after and posting it, and he's like just got done fighting, like he's just one of those people that's like always catching somebody's eye. I could definitely see that. I would like him to. I hate when people are like he needs tougher competition. I mean, anybody in the UFC is tough competition.
Oh,
You're the
100%.
top. You're the top 1% of fighters in the whole world. You know, but how does he do when he's taken down and drugging the deep waters in the third? We
Yeah.
don't know that
See. All right.
yet.
The thing about Sean O'Malley is that he grapples at jiu-jitsu tournaments. When he got suspended for like PEDs.
Yeah.
Okay. During that time, he went and was at a jiu-jitsu tournament every weekend. I think his grappling is slept on. I don't think grappling would be an issue for him. Now,
I don't think grappling
getting
is
him
an
to a
issue for him.
third, getting them to a third, or even if he's a main event, a 5-rounder. Now that's where I'm a little hesitant. I know that, he puts in the work and everything, every fighter does, but well, I can't say every fighter, but every fighter at that level does.
Yeah, you have to at that level.
Yeah, you're not. If you don't, it's gonna be bad news for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I think his cardio. I'm not too sure about it because we've never seen it. It was kind of like the whole Connor thing. What's he gonna do when he fights? Chad Mendez, which we all figured that out. Or what's he gonna do in a 5-rounder against Nate Diaz? We figured that one out as well.
Yeah, Chad Mendez, that was
Yeah.
great. That shot to the body, and then just
Yes.
Connor's he's so accurate with his shots.
Yeah, well, and his spinning back kick is so accurate. He spins at an insane rate. Like I watched the ESPN where they timed it. It was insane. It was so fast. And that was
and it's all
when he was
power.
it's all power. And it was like 100 or I don't even want to say the number because I know I'm gonna either be spot on or dead off. But it was a lot of horsepower for a kick anyway.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get caught with one of those.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get kicked with that. I mean, I can take some shots, but that's the only thing I don't like is when I just get side kicked right in the rib cage or I get a spinning attack on me. Spinning attacks freak me out because I don't know. Is it coming to my head or is it coming to my body?
And what limb is being thrown? Is it a fist?
Yeah.
Is it a leg? Is it
Yes.
a knee? Like nobody knows.
Yes.
And that's what I love about the sport though is the margin for error is so small that at any point you can get caught and slept and vice versa. So you have to be, and a lot of people, I mean, I've got 11 Emmy fights, so it's like I've been in this shit for a while, but a lot of people don't get like, you're at 110% for however long your rounds are. And when you go tell like the average person, go punch this punching bag for 3 minutes as fast and as hard as you can, all out. It's one of those things people don't understand that. And now you're doing that with somebody standing in front of you, throwing spinning kicks and throwing all this stuff. Are your hands in the right place? Is your head in the right place? Are you moving? Are you slipping? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And the thing that made me fall in love with fighting is I play football. I'm going to play college football in 6 months. I know in football, when I take a snap and I drop back, whether it's 14-7 or 21-7, I know there's if it's halftime, I know there's 2 quarters left to score twice, right? I know that. When I'm in a cage or when I'm fighting somebody, it's like, okay, I may be up 2 rounds and we're in the third, but that 2 rounds doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy how this sport is just. I mean, you get some crazy kickboxer.
Yeah.
Who's the kickboxer that knocked out Adesanya? That came to UFC. You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yes.
So it's like you have
I've seen the
people like
video.
that where you're like, this guy's he's like a world-class kickboxer, and you're like, what is he gonna throw at me? Because you don't not a lot of people get to train with world-class kickboxers every day, just like with jiu-jitsu, or wrestling or anything like that,
Not everyone's training with, Khabib.
Which would suck. Just get mauled. Just wake up and you're like, all right, I got to go get mauled by Khabib today.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, yeah. I mean, have you seen him in DC grapple? I mean, he's even handling DC on some days. And DC's a big boy.
I haven't seen that, but I imagine so. But Khabib just doesn't stop.
No.
But he has like a system that works, like his leg lace and all that stuff, and his trips. His judo is so good, too. So when you mix the judo with what's the MMA that they do out there? I can't think of
Sambo.
Now.
Sambo.
Yeah. I mean, when you have somebody like that, I mean, how many gyms in America have Sambo in it? Exactly.
And now you
have some dude that can grapple and do all this other stuff, and it's been doing it since 5 years old. So.
Yeah. Well, and he's not the best striker, but just like anybody, if you get hit right here in the perfect sweet spot, you'll get dropped. Ask Connor about Khabib and his overhand.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Didn't Khabib? Yeah. Khabib dropped him.
Yeah.
Which I shit my pants when I was like, no way. We're in an alternate universe right now. Habib did not just drop Connor.
No, I actually thought that the same when Dustin dropped Connor. I was like, okay. Being in a fight and watching a fight is 2 completely different things. Watching a fight, I'm like, all right, there's no way this guy's gonna get knocked out here. He gets knocked out. Being in a fight, I'm so nervous. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get knocked the fuck out here.
Yeah, they're 2 totally different things. I love them both. I love to be in the fight, and like tonight, for example, I get to go help corner a bunch of our guys and being there and just watching it too, and being like a spectator and whatnot is awesome. But yeah, being in a fight and watching the fight is 2 totally different things. And I hate when I hear people say like, "Why didn't he do this?"
Yeah. Oh.
What do you mean? Why didn't he do this?
Yeah.
Like this guy is a world class. Like Khabib is so good. Like you can't just get up with Khabib on you. They're like, just get up. What do you mean get up?
What do you mean? And the thing is he's not even like abnormally strong. His weight, like how he places his weight on you, makes it impossible for you to get up.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't get it.
And the way, so I'm obviously on social media, and when Charles choked out Dustin, I was very sad because I wanted Dustin to get the title. I'm just not really a Charles do Bronx Oliveira fan. I mean, I don't know why. It's nothing he did. I'm just not a fan. And
I became a Charles fan when he choked out Kevin Lee.
Okay, see, that was
because I hate Kevin Lee. So
do you like Tony Ferguson?
No.
Oh yeah, I can't. I don't like
Tony. Even though Tony got him, Charles got him. I was like, damn, this guy's pretty good. And then I started watching some of his stuff. Yeah. And then that's when after Charles beat Lee, I think that's when he went on that hot streak and just was like
9 fights.
As Hamzat said, I kill everybody.
Yeah. Oh, see, I think he is going to give Usman a run for his money.
Hamza?
Again, same thing with Sean. Give him some time. But the thing is Hamza, like Sean's winning. Sean's like, finishing people. Hamza is dominating people from start to finish. Like picks this dude up and walks him over to the corner, starts screaming at DC, and then just lays him down like he's taking a nap. I just can't. How can you bet against that?
You really can't. You can't.
Like, and
that
this
guy
isn't picking up.
too.
Yeah, no. And this isn't like him going to an amateur gym like Dustin Poirier knocking out an amateur while he's in full Nerf gear. You can't, and screaming at him
Trash.
and new. You can't, that's not that. That's picking up a dude in the top 15, I believe. Wasn't he in the top 15?
Lee, I don't know if he's top 15. He might have been, but he was either close or right there. But
yeah,
I mean, he was
either
really
way.
good
If you're top, let's see, what is there, like 50 fighters on a UFC roster per weight class? Let's say, if you're even 16, 7, 20, you're elite.
Yeah, you're still elite.
Yes.
Like what that's saying on paper is like these 20 people might beat you, but short of that, you're really good.
Yeah.
But I love Hamzat though because his style is just like, fuck you. Like I'm coming at you and I'm going to destroy you. Who's the guy that he fought from Duke Rufus sport? Oh man, I can't remember. But he went out there and like he circled, and then threw a 2 down the pipe and just knocked the dude out.
Oh yeah, I remember that actually.
You remember because he was talking at the press conference and he's like, "I'm going to knock you out." And the guy's like, "You're not going to knock me out. There's no way." Hamzat, they threw 3 punches the whole fight.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about, Islam, who I think is going to be really good. I think he wears a belt soon. Not that I like it, by the way. I'm not saying I like that, but
it sounds like you like it.
No, I don't. But when you train with Khabib every day and have been every day, there's a reason why Coach Khabib is undefeated.
I agree with that, but
now, and
he's
the thing is,
tough tests coming up. He's got some tough tests coming up.
Gaethje is going to be a great fight.
I think isn't he fighting Dariush soon?
Yeah, and Dariush. I DC or RC, one of the two on that show, said Dariush is going to choke him out. It was definitely not DC because that's his teammate. So it was RC.
No, DC would not say that.
Yeah, no, DC commentating, aka people is I just mute him, honest to God.
I've muted DC whenever AKA fighters come out. I'm just like, DC, shut up, please.
Yes, like we get it. You train with them, but I just don't.
But it's also like you hear Felder talk with, the Rufus guys will come out or whoever, and it's hard not to be biased because you put so much work in with these guys day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard not to be, but DC is like definitively biased towards everything.
Yes.
Watch this guy do this, and he does one thing right. Oh my God, that was the best jab I've ever seen. It's like, DC, shut up.
Yeah, and I love DC, but enough's enough sometimes.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
I don't know. The UFC is and I mean, we got a 40-year-old at light heavyweight, just a champion.
That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I really wish. I thought Wonder Boy, because he's getting up there too. I thought Wonder Boy was going to be Usman's toughest test because Wonder Boy is a striker and he will sidekick you if you try to take him down. But that's what I thought. Then he fought Gilbert, obviously, and But the thing is I didn't feel like he let his hands go. He didn't let anything go. He was just
But did he fight Gilbert? I thought he fought.
No, he fought. Well, his last fight, he fought. Who did he
Bilal
fight?
Muhammad.
Bilal did the same thing. But before that, Gilbert, on July 10th, I was like, come on, you're not even throwing strikes. And I hate to be that guy. But when you're Wonder Boy, I expect you to throw like something. Like I don't expect you to get taken down and laid on the whole fight. Like, I don't know. I feel like he could have done more, but I'm not Wonder Boy. Probably won't ever be Wonder Boy. So I'm not going to criticize him too much, but at the same time, it makes me want
going back to the fan of saying why didn't you just do this?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Bilal Muhammad definitely surprised me.
Oh, yes.
I personally am not a huge Bilal Muhammad fan.
I really don't even acknowledge him.
Yeah, I don't either. Because like I think on social media he's so cringy,
Uh-huh.
and I think he's like trying to get fans, but at the same time, it's like what you're doing is not. I'm like unfollow, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But no, I think what he did though to Wonder Boy, I was like respect, like this guy just nullified a striker and took him down and did what you had to do, But again, he took what Burns did and just
Ran
mimicked
with it.
that, which
Yeah.
so I don't know.
But at the same time,
I wish Thompson would have just won the damn belt.
yeah, literally. But at the same time, Tyron Woodley's a phenomenal grappler, and he didn't get dominated on the ground like that against him. So I don't know.
He did
It's
against
just like,
Colby.
yes, but
Tyron
Colby,
got
yeah. Oh, broke
got
his ribs. Oh my.
when he took Tyron down in the first, I think, with like a nasty double leg, and that's when I was
Yes.
thinking. That's when I thought, okay, we have. I don't know all of Woodley's accolades, but you have this guy who what was he on like a 2 or 3 fight losing streak. That doesn't mean shit when you have this guy who's one of the best wrestlers in the world at one time.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
this guy doesn't even compare to you on paper for wrestling and just took you down. That's when I was like,
Exactly.
oh, here we go.
Yes. Yeah. That's when Colby, because at first I got to say I wasn't the biggest fan of Colby. I thought he was
Oh,
just
you're
this
crazy.
loudmouth. I just thought he was this loudmouth idiot. Then he broke Tyron Woodley's ribs, and I'm like, okay, I like him. Same thing as Jake Paul. Wasn't a big fan, but then you send Tyron Woodley into the shadow realm, and I gotta say I'm a fan of him.
I respect the hustle because they're making like what, 10 million, $20 million to
Yeah.
box. But and I hate when people are like, he needs a real boxer. Like Woodley's still a real athlete, but
Well, and boxing is not the same as MMA. Like the first 20 fights of Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez, Triple G, Lomachenko, everyone, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, they're not fighting champions off rip. Like they're building up to, it's not like, MMA
and
where
there's
Conor McGregor jumps in and fights. We fought like Dennis Seaver and Marcus Brimage, but Brandao was a good fighter, and then he fights Mendez Aldo. But that was quick.
Holloway.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Holloway too. Dustin.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy.
To think about Connor and Holloway at fight blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Going
anyway,
back to the
back to
Jake Paul
boxing.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody fights world-class boxers when honestly, he's still a baby in the sport.
And nobody has as much pressure in their first 20 fights, going a lot of times I think those guys are like, hey, this guy's 2-7, you're 5-0, this is who you're fighting, you know what I mean? And there's not like there's still pressure, but you're not like, oh God, this guy's a world beater. This guy's been a world champion elsewhere. This guy has done this. So I think there is a lot of pressure that he's, you know,
Well, and just the
good
fact that
about.
everyone's preying on his downfall.
That is so true. It is so true.
I mean, you're main
Um,
eventing and you're new to a sport and you're main eventing huge headlines, although 65,000 pay-per-view buys. Um, you know,
is
if you're
that the
gonna,
number? Is that what came out?
yeah,
65 on the last one?
yeah, 65 or 75. Um, yeah, I don't know. You don't really get to talk shit to Dana when you only have 65,000 pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, you don't. You don't.
Like Dana's worst card like doubles that.
Dana could say next Thursday I have a pay-per-view and he's going to get more buys on a Thursday night.
Yeah. So this weekend we have a featherweight fight.
Uh-huh.
Chikadze versus Calvin Kattar, right?
Yeah.
I
I
assume
love
you're on
Calvin Kattar.
Chikadze.
I love Calvin Kattar, honestly. But after
Max.
Max, I think that a certain, like year, like I don't know the term when people are like, oh, they're taking years off of his life.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get punched was like 500 plus times, significant strikes 500, I think coming back is just difficult, and especially against what's this guy's name? Chickadees or Chikaze or
Yeah,
something?
Giga Chikaze, yeah.
Something crazy. I mean, that's no slouch. That is no
Didn't he
slouch.
did he just beat the brakes off of somebody? Who was it? I thought he was gonna lose. I actually bet against him, and
It wasn't
this dude
Yair. Yair hasn't fought. Who was it?
was it? No, it was a decent fighter, but I'm gonna actually look that up.
You
But
need to get one of the. You need to get Jamie in there.
oh
Jones
yeah,
guy. Jamie,
yeah,
look it up, dog.
yeah, I do. I need a Jamie.
That's funny.
Um,
I don't know who he fought, but no, that guy is good. He's really good. I think Calvin Kattar has a tough fight, but I also like that Calvin Kattar is down to walk back into the fire.
yeah. Well, he fought Edson Barbosa, who was on a heater.
Savage.
Yeah,
Savage.
and beat the brakes off of him. But the fight before that, Cub Swanson, who's no pushover.
Yeah, Cub's surprised. Isn't Cub like 38 or something like that?
Yeah, he's an old timer. He's like what's his name?
He
The
just
dude with the
fought.
long hair. The dude with the long hair. Oh, what's his name? He's been in that.
He's been in that for a minute.
Yeah, the Carpenter. Oh, what's his name?
I'm
You
gonna
know,
get beat up at practice because I don't know any of these people. I try to think. I know who the Carpenter is, but I can't think off the top of my head. But I think Calvin Kattar.
Clay Guida.
I think.
Clay Guida.
Oh my God! I cannot believe I forgot that.
Yeah,
Oops.
neither can I. But he's an old timer too and gets in there. And who
Did you see
who
Clay
did,
Guida? Did you see his hair? It was here, but then he's missing like
yes.
he's like missing all of this, and they had like the camera angle on top. I was like, bro, switch the camera right now.
Don't do him like that. That's not okay.
He looked like the character out of Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
You know, the
Trevor,
old dude with the ball. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I was like, holy shit, that's a Grand Theft Auto character.
Yes. That's crazy. So thank you, Mike, for coming and hanging out. Hope to have you on soon. Make sure to like, share, subscribe this. It will be a week from today. So what, the 21st? The weekend parlay is live as we speak. So the link will be in the description. Go check that out. Greatest sports betting service you have. You'll see everything on the website. Go check that out. Also check out SuttonHugginsFitness.org. We will be over there with every episode listed. Be there. Mike, I think I'll probably come to your fight, honestly, since I'm so close.
I got you a ticket.
Oh,
I got you, dog.
That's even better.
I got you a ticket, man.
All right. So thanks for coming and hanging out, and I hope to have you back on soon.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's been fun.
Yeah. All right. Peace out, guys.